Hey crafters, DM Scotty here. Great to have you with me. Today in DM Scotty's Corner, I wanted to talk about something from 4E. Ooh, don't freak out now. It's all right. It's okay. Breathe, breathe. All right, it's cool. Something I actually really liked in 4E were skill challenges, okay? And they're pretty cool. They really mimic the kind of cinematic feel of things. Okay, say, you're escaping from a castle and you did what you needed to do, but really it's just about escaping the castle. You could lay down the castle with tiles and move every miniature and blah, 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 but that's not really that cinematic. It's not that fun. Where you could do a skill challenge, and if you make the skill challenge, you get out, and say you fail it, maybe you get captured, okay? So yeah, that makes it much more cinematic and quick, without having to lay it and move every miniature. They're 30 feet and this and that, and then the enemies are 30 feet. That's not cinematic. That's drudgery, okay? Save those set piece battles for the miniatures and that kind of thing. But this kind of stuff, just run it as a skill challenge. So I think it's great to import the 4E skill challenge into 5E. Now, a person who talks at length of this is Matthew Colville. And if you don't know his channel, he's a fantastic instructor, particularly for new DMs. And he's very well spoken, very articulate. I'm kind of blah, 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 but he's more, on point, he's very, he's very studious, and he's better, I guess a better speaker than I am. I get a little excited, but yeah, but his channel's great. And he does a video number 24 in his DM series about porting skill challenges into 5e. And one thing he does is he doesn't let you roll the skill challenge for 5e people unless you're trained in the skill. Now, that's something I don't agree with him. That's fine in his game, but for me, the less skilled you are when you roll the skill challenge, you don't want to get any failures, right? And so, say if there's a person that's trained, you're going to have them roll first, right? Because they're better and they're more likely to get a success. Okay, and if it gets desperate, you might want to have that other person roll a success and maybe they just get lucky, right? So and people are like, yeah, when that success happens, because it's less and less likely as the less trained people do stuff. So I'm fine with other people, using it. And like Matthew says, I don't allow people to repeat the skill that they use. So if they use stealth to try to get out of a fortress or something, they can't keep doing it. They can't keep rolling it. Someone else would have to roll it, okay? So, yeah. So there we go. And people with heavy armor are going to have a really hard time rolling that, right? Because they're clanking around and this kind of thing. So check out his channel and his talk about it. Now, yeah, like I said, a couple things different from mine. I let everybody roll the skill challenge, no matter if they're trained or not. And of course, the more trained people tend to roll first. But another thing I do, like he says, is you want to have people describe what they're doing. Don't just have them roll the dice and say, "Oh, I made it. I got the success." No, my players have to tell me what they're doing. Okay, so if they're using stealth, they could say, "Well, I'm trying to follow some of the enemies and see where the way out is." Okay, and oh, that's cool. Okay, so roll it. And if someone I can't think of anything to use my skill for. Well, they don't get to roll, right? So you make it into a role-playing challenge. This exciting. And if they fail, you can have something happen. Like, for example, I had some of the players were captured as well as some NPCs and taken into this ice cave, and they were getting fed to this ice worm, and they thought they were going to be food for these trolls, but it turned out this ice worm shows up and they have to fight this thing and everything. And so the fun of that kind of a part had been finished, right? They defeated the ice worm, and the trolls had fled. They had fled back into the caverns, which were these crazy caverns because the ice worm had dug all these caverns up and down, so there were slides and ducts and, not just a straight cavern. It was all over the place. It was honeycombed, right? So the players had to find their way out because they had slid in here. They'd been knocked out and captured and all this kind of thing. Some of them had been knocked out and captured. They had slid down these slides and they had to get back up and all this stuff. So I made it a skill challenge to get out. So instead of the slog of putting your little miniatures on the table and then moving them 30 feet and then putting the whole cave system down, which is difficult anyway with that kind of a dungeon because it was all honeycombed and everything. You can't, it's hard to lay that stuff down just flat, right? Because I had entrances that were upside down and I had them on top of things and I made it try to look like it was a honeycombed layer, right? And so having to build that out for the whole layer is just, you don't need to do that. Why waste all this time doing that when you could just do an interesting skill challenge to get them out, right? So they had done what they were doing. They found a few magic items frozen in the ice. They got those. They had killed the worm, freed their friends, as well as the NPCs, and they were trying to get out of here, right? So like I said, instead of doing the slog, we'll do a skill challenge to make it interesting to see if they can, and these trolls are lurking around in this lair. So when they'd fail, a troll might hit them with an ice boulder, or they might fall in a pit or slide down. Say they failed one, they might slide down and have to make another roll to get a success, to get the number of successes they need instead of getting out. So it's kind of attrition. They would have to get enough successes before the trolls maybe took them out. So, and you can increase damage for every one they fail. Every roll they fail, maybe it's a nastier trap. Maybe the wall collapses and they have to go back, or whatever. And that's all very cinematic and descriptive with no miniatures and no terrain. But it's really great, and they're seeing this in their mind. It's fantastic. Of course, my players finally made it out. But yeah, the skill challenges can be so fun. So don't overlook them for 5e. And if you're not familiar with Matt Colville, check him out. He doesn't have a cool logo like I do, like the DM's Craft, or some of our other channels that we have going on here, or the Nerdarchy and all this stuff. We have these cool logos, but it's just a very you wouldn't even know that this guy is like a DM savant, right? Yeah, this guy's fantastic. He's been doing DMing forever. I think any DM can learn really something from Matt. Yeah, so check his channel out, and I hope you found this helpful. Matt, thanks for the ideas, and keep those videos coming. Fantastic. And I'll see you next time at the DM's Craft. And Matt, you may want to think about a cool logo. I think that'd be great,